Hi, my name is Leo. Depending on when I edit this, it might be my first video, so welcome to the channel. This video, I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite MLM books, so men loving men. Anyway, I hope you like this setup because I put a lot of effort into it. That's my friend's cat. Her name is Bonk, and that's my little teddy bear. His name is Freddy. The reason why I bought that teddy bear is because my current hyperfixation is Garrett Watts. He has this little teddy bear that he's been carrying around in a lot of his videos. He got it because he had nightmares. Now, I don't have my nightmares, but whenever I have a hyperfixation, I tend to hold my entire identity around them. So I bought that teddy bear. He's cute. Yeah, so I'm gonna be sharing with you some of the queer stories that I really enjoyed. Ones that I picked out are specifically written by queer people, queer men, I'm pretty sure, but I haven't done my research. I'll show you the ones that I've read, and there's also, I think, maybe one that I haven't read. This is our collection. I'm gonna start with the most obvious choice, which is Call Me By Your Name. I have my copy annotated because I annotate books sometimes. So this book is by André aciman. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but if you've been on the internet or just lived in the past couple years, in the past like 5 years, you've probably heard about this book. I think it's a really good story. I found that it was really beautifully written. It sort of just made you feel all the things that the characters are feeling. Anyway, I'll give you a synopsis to the best of my ability, but I'm really bad at summarizing these things, so you really should just take my word for it. It's about this family, and Elio is their son, and in the summers they take in an academic because his father is a professor, and this summer they take in Oliver for the summer, and Elio and Oliver end up falling in love, and it's just a really sweet, simple book about two people falling in love. And if you've seen the movie and you really like the movie, read the book too, because I saw the movie before I read the book, and I still really enjoyed the book. I'm also the kind of person that just does that. So I'm doing this in order of my favorites. The next one is Swimming in the Dark, and I'm pretty sure it's based on a true story, so I would assume the author is queer, but again, I haven't done actual research for this video. So this one's also really simple. It's more political. It is based in 1980s Poland about two people who fall in love for a summer, and it's really sweet, but it's also realistic and heartbreaking. Swimming in the Dark by, okay, I'm literally gonna butcher all of the names. Tomasz Jedrowski, possibly. I was expecting this book to be more about the romance, but it ended up being more about the heartbreak. Obviously, I won't get into specifics. Anyway, just trust me, it's good, and it kept me engaged throughout the book, and I have a pretty not great attention span, so I would say that that's a win. Read it because I'm telling you to. Now, this one, you guys might laugh at me for because it's not actually like a queer story, and it's a classic, and it is The Picture of Dorian Gray, and I don't like my copy. I think my copy's kind of ugly. I hate hardcovers, and it's a hardcover. But Oscar Wilde is a little queer, and there's queer undertones in this book. Even if you don't believe me, I promise you it's true. I'm pretty sure I've highlighted some of them. Here, I'll prove it to you. Okay, never mind. I'm not gonna prove it to you because without context, it doesn't really prove it anyway. But I promise you, it's really cute. However, be prepared for some misogyny. It knocked off a star in my rating for it because of all the misogyny that is in this book. If you are a reader that reads like books that are a little less accessible to the average reader, like books that are just a little harder to read, this one's for you. I dropped it. It's called Queer by William S. Burroughs, and it was really difficult for me to read personally, so I didn't enjoy it that much, but I think it's an important book. It was originally written in the 1950s, which is really interesting because it follows like queer life like back then. I enjoyed that aspect of it, but again, a lot of the time because I couldn't exactly understand what it was trying to communicate, I could not follow it a lot. But there were some, I remember there were some quotes that I really liked in the book. And again, if you are a better reader than me, then you'll probably enjoy it. Okay, this is the last one out of the books that I have read, and then there's one more that I have not personally read. This one is called Lie With Me by Phillipe Besson. French person, probably, I think, definitely. I read this one a little bit more recently, and I enjoyed it, but at the same time, I wasn't really in the mood to read a romance in the first place, so it was like, for me. But if you are in the mood for a romance, it's probably really good. Actually, it is really good. I remember, again, there were some like hard-hitting quotes in it, and it was also heartbreaking. 98% of these books are heartbreaking. I think all of them are heartbreaking a little bit, but I don't know. I've just come to expect that with queer romance. This one reads sort of like as a memoir to the love that the author experienced when he was 17, and I personally found a little bit of it uncomfortable because it was explicit and they're only 17, so it's kind of gross. But other than that, you're willing to skip over that part, or if you're 17 yourself, and you'll probably really like it. It's a really short novel too. It is only 147 pages, so it's a pretty easy read if you're having a hard time reading at the moment, which I am. And I'm also reading a really small book, but I haven't even touched it in like a week, so. Also, it's translated by Molly Ringwald. I didn't know that. I just was reading the back. Okay, last one, Maurice. Also written like a long time ago. I don't remember when. Give me a moment. This one was written in 1914, which is probably really interesting, but again, I haven't read it. It's called Maurice by E.M. Forster. I'm pretty sure that there's been a movie adapted after it. I have not seen it myself, but it looks good. So if you've seen that movie and you want to read the book, but you didn't know there's a book, heads up, there's a book. Anyway, this one's more about a queer sexual awakening in the early 1900s. Also was not originally published in 1914 for like obvious reasons, but it was published after Forster's death in 1970. I am borderline quoting this word for word because I haven't read it, so I don't really have anything personal to say about it. But it was written by a queer person in the 1900s. Is that good enough? Okay, so yeah, I gave you a little collection. So I hope that that's helpful if you have been frustrated like I've been with all the mass amounts of MLM books not being written by actual MLM people. So I hope this helps somewhat. I'm also going to put all the names of the books in the description for easier access. I mainly filmed this video right now because I felt like complete trash for waking up at 2 p.m. and doing nothing with my day. So I needed a dopamine hit. Well, if you enjoyed this video, consider giving it a thumbs up, though I won't be angry if you don't, because I, as an avid YouTube watcher, as a borderline iPad kid, do not often remember to press the thumbs up button, but it would be great if you did. Bye.